at 7. Nigerians renew call for participatory democracy towards national emancipation as countries celebrate 23 years of uninterrupted civil rule. Ahead 2023 general elections, Methodist prelate warns against voters' apathy. On the foreign scene, Sri Lanka malls further crisis worsens. Super Eagles wallop Sao Tome and Principe 10-0 in Nations Cup qualifiers. Thanks for joining us on the news tonight. Oluwatoyin Omodara is my name. As Nigerians remember the event of June 12, 1993 in commemoration of Democracy Day, political watchers have called on citizens to participate more in the democratic process to fully engender development. Tators who spoke to Osrc expressed the need for Nigerians to prioritize competence while making decisions in the 2023 general election. Zaid Ibisala Ashmore.
The 12th of June is cemented in Nigeria's history with memories of the 1993 presidential election won by Chief Moshood Abiola but annulled by the military junta. The historically adjudged freest and fairest election conducted in the country is perhaps one resonating moment of true ideals of democracy witnessed by many Nigerians. Despite Nigeria's 23 years of unbroken democracy since 1999, which has produced 4 presidents, some Nigerians say the true tenet of democracy remain elusive.
It's a pity that democracy we are asking for, we can say we've got it, we can say we have not got it. We got it in the sense that the military is not around, but we've not got it in the sense that the democracy we are aspiring for, we've not got it in the right perspective. We are not even operating it well.
Lack of obedience to the rule of law and judicial process, respect for human rights, corruption, among others, are festering signs that more still needs to be done for democracy to run in its strides.
Democracy is the establishment of the rule of law. When you're talking about tenet of democracy, you're talking about the pillar of the rule of law and the rights of individuals. So those are the two things that come to fore when you're talking about democracy. Having said that, how have we fared in this area? Obviously, you will agree with me that there's a need for us to take a look at our constitution so that we can strengthen democracy vis-a-vis our document of union. You know, there's no shortcut to strengthening the democracy other than strengthening the constitution.
To fully enjoy democracy benefit, some political observers urge citizens to thirst for inclusion and engagement from their representatives. According to the Independent National Electoral Commission, INEC, out of the 82.3 million registered voters, only 28.6 million voted in the 2019 elections. These worrying statistics, advocates equate with surrendering the power of democracy to the hands of a few.
People should now sit down and let our leaders know that democracy is for all of us. It's not autocracy. Selection. When you are talking of all this new thing that you are saying, this one should go and contest. They are all nominated. Money matters. They hijack a democracy to money. You see, all these things are not part of democracy. We should be able to see ourselves as part of government.
As Nigerians march towards the 2023 general elections, they need to reflect on the June 12, 1993 presidential election, where credibility and competence trumped mediocrity and bias. Political observers say it is necessary to change the course of democracy for the best. Sahid Aribisala, Osrc News.
Meanwhile, 3 military officers who were participating in the Democracy Day parade slumped at the Eagle Square, Abuja. Having stood for hours on one spot under the scorching sun, they were believed to have succumbed to exhaustion. Report says there was confusion as some security and medical personnel rushed to the parade ground with stretchers and reached their collapsed colleagues to the medical shed on the left side of the state box where President Muhammad Buhari was seated. However, no casualties were recorded as they were successfully treated and soon regained consciousness. President Muhammadu Buhari has met separately with former Minister of Transportation Rotimi Amechi and the Senate President Ahmed Lawan at the Osrc Villa in Abuja. The meeting comes barely 2 days after the presidential candidate of the party, Bola Tinubu, met Buhari on a thank-you visit to the villa. Although the matters discussed with Amechi were not disclosed, Lawan, who spoke after his session with the president, said the party was still grappling with challenges it inherited since 1999. Lawan promised Nigerians on behalf of APC that the ruling party at the state and national levels will always do things that would matter for the lives of the ordinary Nigerians. In the meantime, there are indications that the All Progressives Congress presidential candidate Asiwaju Bola Tinubu may unveil his running mate on Wednesday. It was learnt that Tinubu might have concluded consultations with the party stakeholders, including governors, on Tuesday and would announce his running mate on Wednesday. It was also learnt that the APC governors and other stakeholders had agreed that the Northeast should produce the vice presidential candidate of the party. Reports add that Tinubu, who emerged the APC presidential candidate at the party's primary, might settle for a Muslim as his running mate. As preparations towards 2023 general elections gathers momentum, the Prelate Methodist Church Nigeria, His Eminence Samuel Uche, has charged Nigerians to get their permanent voters' cards for the exercise. While the prelate, while speaking with Osrc in Accra, the Ondo State capital, said the current situation in Nigeria requires a visionary leader who has the capacity to change the current unrest, which is threatening the existence of mankind in the country. He said that could only be achieved through the ballot.
If our vote will count, I will urge every Nigerian to get PVC. Register, get PVC if you are 18 years and above, and then vote. Don't allow yourself to be bought over. Don't mortgage your future because of Naira. Because every 4 years, we buy, some people mortgage their future, collect money, and continue to suffer. Their children will complete education, no employment for the youth, no skill, nothing. We want a leader that will think about the people, a leader that will operate a type of channel.
Religious end with the recent one at St. Francis Catholic Church, Owo. The prelate called for tighter security arrangement in the country.
Let people, if they go to worship either in the mosque or in the shrine or in the church, those are sacred places. Allow them to worship according to their belief and come out. Nobody has monopoly of riot or violence.
Uche was kidnapped some weeks ago alongside other clergymen and were released after a ransom was paid. Meanwhile, terror attack on St. Francis Catholic Church has been described as satanic agenda. Chairman Ondo State Oil Producing Area Development Commission, the SUPADEC, Sam Erejua, while visiting the ancient town of Owo to register his condolences, said only demonic souls can perpetrate such senseless killings. The report is put together by Olumide Idowu and presented from our studio.
The attack on St. Francis Catholic Church, Owo, has continued to attract condemnation. The latest came from the board members and management team of the Ondo State Oil Producing Area Development Commission, or SUPADEC, led by its chairman, Mr. Sam Erejua, who visited the ancient town. Their first port of call was the palace of Olowo of Owo, Obajibade Ogunye, where the chairman of the commission, Sam Erejua, expressed his condolences.
Our first visit to the palace is to commiserate with ABC, the good people of Owo, and the deceased family.
It was a very sad experience. Better imagined than experienced. We never believed that such will happen in our environment here.
The team later visited St. Francis Catholic Church, scene of the attack, St. Louis Catholic Hospital and Federal Medical Center, all in Owo. At St. Louis Catholic Hospital, Mr. Erejua presented check of 1 million naira as relief fund to Catholic Diocese of Ondo through the hospital administrator, Sister Agnes Mary.
Token from the commission.
And 200,000 naira was given to the doctors in Federal Medical Center Owo alongside with palliatives. In an interview, Chairman of the Commission, Sam Erejua, said the purpose of the visit was to commiserate with the people of Owo and the state at large.
From distance, very traumatizing and a very shocking one, but we can see the intervention of God Almighty Himself. Many have been discharged, and those on hospital bed are responding to treatments. We can only pray that God will continue to support the doctors in their assignments. The federal government of Nigeria should support Amatekun, should support our governor and the governor of Southwest and other governors in their bid to secure their states.
40 persons out of the 127 involved in the attack were killed, leaving 61 survivors currently on admission in different hospitals, while 26 already discharged.
Nigerians have been admonished to be security conscious and always volunteer useful information to security agencies. The board chairman, International Strategic Management Institute, Mr. Paul Yaro, spoke at the Institute's 4th Biennial Conference in Akure, Ondo State Capital. Osrc reporter Zimo Ibiemi covered the event and his report.
International Strategic Management Institute is a professional organization with the aim of bringing up young ones and train them to become professionals in their chosen career in the society. The 4th Biennial Conference with the theme Security and Development, our collective responsibility, brought together top security experts to meet minds on the way out of insecurity in the country. The board chairman, International Strategic Management Institute, Mr. Paul Yaro, said security situation in the country calls for concern. He urged every resident to be security conscious at this critical period of insecurity.
I don't think the security outfit have not been gathering intelligence and reports. I want to believe they have been doing it, except that it may not be adequate. Probably they need to scale up, they need to step up their information gathering so that can enable them nip any lapse in security before it even takes place.
Guest speaker Professor Mba Yusuf took the gathering on the memory lane and enjoined Nigerians to be security conscious and see issues of security as a collective responsibility.
We are moving to that era of politics again, politics of succession. We need to pay more attention to this aspect of political violence, especially its electoral variant. Because study has shown in this context, in Nigeria in particular, that during the pre-election phase, there tends to be an upward movement or an increase in the level of electoral violence.
Security experts and others who spoke at the event appealed to Nigerians to be conscious of their environment and security should not be left to government alone.
Now we have been standing, if you see something, say something. But you can only say something when you have identified what you have seen. Many of us have seen so many things and we don't even know that they are threats. Look at our issue. Up till now, we are still asking questions. Nobody can really say this is how many they are. This operation was not just 1 minute, not just for 2 minutes. But yet, nobody can say they are tall, they are short, but they are not spirits.
Without security, there cannot be sustainable development. Hence, the strong end-up between the two phenomena. The importance of security to the national development has also influenced budgetary allocation to security.
The insecurity is right from our home. It's right from our palaces. Because we are shouting of Boko Haram, Boko Haram. Some of our children have turned to Boko Haram. These people, they don't know anywhere. It's our people that are showing them the way.
The event also featured awards and induction of members of the institute. At the end of the event, the gathering unanimously agreed to assist security officials with necessary information to curb insecurity in the society. Zimo Biemi, Osrc News.
Let's go for a break now. When we come back, we'll serve you more stories on the news. Please stay with us. Welcome back. You can watch us live on our website www.osrc.ng or follow us on Facebook Osrc TV Ondo, and on YouTube you can subscribe to our channel Osrc TV Ondo. Now to the rest of the bulletin. Ondo State Government is set to begin redistribution of teachers in primary schools across the state. Chairman of the State Universal Primary Education Board, Mr. Victor Labinton, said the exercise is to address shortage of teachers in rural areas. Kunle Ario reports.
The issue of inadequate number of teachers in public schools has again occupied a front burner in national discourse. Investigations have revealed that there are some schools, especially in rural communities, where there is just one teacher attending to all pupils in all the classes. Chairman of Ondo State Primary Education Board, Mr. Victor Labinton, however, said the development might not be connected to shortage of teachers, but lopsidedness in the distribution pattern. He said while schools in major cities are saturated with qualified teachers, those in the rural areas are begging for teachers. Mr. Labinton said the government is ready to correct the imbalance before the resumption of next academic session in September.
Times about a year ago, teachers were recruited, about 1,200. We have this lopsided distribution of the teachers. It's not, I don't believe it is absolutely correct that we don't have enough teachers. We have shortage, but the shortage is not as pronounced as they are making us to believe, because and what happened is that there are no fair distribution of this. You see, I'm a teacher, and as a teacher, I want these pupils taught. And because I want them taught, I want to, we are doing the distribution. We have started, and we will continue to make sure that every school had their own fair share of the number of teachers. We have decided to say, okay, let's make it 35 pupils per class. Everybody cannot be in Akure. We recruited over 1,200 teachers, and we have close to 600 beds coming to Akure, and Akure is already oversaturated. Do we continue to add more to this thing for a teacher to be in a school and not working? Whereas we have some schools in the rural area where we have 2 teachers, 3 teachers, even some 1.
While noting the investment of government in education, especially infrastructural development, the Subeb boss said government would soon begin distribution of free textbooks to pupils in public schools.
We're going to build more new schools. We're going to renovate more new schools. We're going to provide more lockers. We're going to provide more science equipment. We're going to provide more textbooks. We're going to provide a lot of things. In fact, we have some textbooks now that have just been procured, and very soon the governor is going to launch it, so that everybody, we are going to distribute it to all pupils in the state public schools. Free. We are going to provide it for them, so that the child, when the child gets to school, he gets something to read.
He equally enjoyed administrators, both in public and private schools, to cooperate with the government over the ongoing enumeration of schools. Mr. Labinton said the exercise is about data collection that would assist government and other stakeholders in planning to make the school system better.
The national personal audit is to know, 1, how many pupils do we have in Ondo State? How many are out of school? 2, how many teachers do we have? Are they all qualified? Do we have enough? Don't we have more? Do we have more than enough? What about the infrastructural facilities? And this will be carried out in both private and public primary and junior secondary schools. And we are appealing to the private sector, our private proprietors. It is not to tax them. We are not taxing them. This is for planning purposes. This is going to be used by UNESCO, World Bank, all donor agencies to assist.
the Subeb boss said nothing will deter government from making the primary education solid, as it is the foundation. Kunle Aruyo, Osrc News.
The federal government has resumed talks with representatives of unions in the nation collapse. The last